guys, Hiking here, bringing you some new updates for Resident Evil 9 from Lutix Fix. So before I begin, remember to like and subscribe, guys, and yeah, let's go into this. So we're only a few days away from the Summer Game Fest and a potential state of play. Lutix has given us what's supposed to be maybe a final update before the actual reveal. I'm going to read through his posts and read through some other stuff, and then yeah, we're gonna just discuss it and see whether or not he's gonna be correct or not, because this is it. We're gonna find out if he's telling the truth or if he's a liar. So yeah, we're gonna take all of this with a grain of salt, because this is not confirmation, this is speculation as always. And yeah, let's go through this, guys. Let's go through this. Hey everyone, let's go. Over the past few days, I mentioned that the coming weeks would be historic, and honestly, I still believe they will be. As many of you know, I have some contacts in the marketing sector, and here's what I've heard. Game reveal timing. The game is set to be announced in June during a state of play. My source was very clear and confident about this. Because of that, I don't think the game will be revealed at Summer Game Fest. First trailer details. The first trailer is already finished. It's very atmospheric and only features Leon. However, my contact assured me that Jill is still part of the project, as her name appears in the descriptions of licensed merchandise currently being approved. About the demo I played. I asked if the demo I played might actually be from a different game, and he responded with something along the lines of, "Wouldn't be the first time that's happened." So now I'm not quite sure what to think about that particular test. That's all for now. I'll try to interact with you all throughout the day while I get ready for lunch. So let's start with the first one. He's saying that the game is going to be revealed at a state of play in June. I've been saying for a long time now that if this game's going to be revealed, it's going to be at a state of play. Again, if you've seen my previous videos, I've gone through the whole pattern that Capcom likes to do. Every main RE engine RE title developed by Dev 1 has been revealed at a June event. And most of these events have been PlayStation events and state of plays. Even Resident Evil 3 Remake, which was done by the side team, was revealed in a December state of play. RE4 Remake, was it RE4? Yeah, RE4 Remake was revealed at a state of play. So it only makes sense it's going to be a state of play, because Capcom has never revealed any of their Resident Evil titles at a Summer Game Fest or at a Game Awards. So it doesn't make sense for them to start now. That said, things could change, because you have some other known leakers and users who have pretty much said that the game's going to be revealed at Summer Game Fest. For example, Andy from Screamfire Germany, he did a recent video, and in that video, he pretty much says that it's going to be revealed at Summer Game Fest. So we've got two different contradictions going on here. That said, Andy's more of a reliable leaker, because we know him. We've seen him do some stuff and discuss some stuff, and some of his info is definitely more accurate. Lutix is a first-time leaker, or at least I assume he is, but I will get into that in a minute when I do, once I finish reading some of his other posts. The first trailer being about Leon, makes sense. Leon is the poster child of RE at this point, thanks to Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 4 Remake. It makes sense that he's going to be front and center. As for Jill, now this is something I've been theorizing for a while now, that maybe the stuff that we've been hearing about this Jill stuff is actually a totally different game, and that might be the case. Or it's a case that the Jill stuff is actually DLC for RE9. So we don't know. We don't know, because if you remember Andy's leaks for Resident Evil 9 back last year, he said that Jill plays a similar role to like Sheva for Chris in RE5. But if anything, it makes more sense if she plays more of an Ada role, technically speaking, because then you can basically do like a DLC campaign for Jill, right? And then of course there's the fact that Jill, technically speaking, has always sort of been treated as a side character in Resident Evil. Yeah, she was the main heroine in the original Resident Evil game, but when we got to Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 3 was more of a epilogue, a prelude and epilogue to Resident Evil 2, not really a proper sequel. At Resident Evil 3, everyone always says it feels more like a spin-off title. And then in Resident Evil 5, she's barely a main character. She's a damsel in distress, she's barely in the game, and then most of her content that you play as is DLC, so again, side content. And then the only time we ever get another main game with her, it's a spin-off title with Revelations 1. So Jill has always sort of been sidelined. So I've always gotten the impression that Capcom just sort of considers her like this side character that they can use for like the side projects and stuff. She doesn't come across as like a main character the way Chris and Leon do, which is disappointing, but when you look at it that way, it kind of fits. So Jill potentially being maybe a DLC character or having her own separate way style for RE9 makes more sense. but it could also be a case of Capcom's working on multiple games, and the stuff we've been hearing about Jill from Lutix is actually a different game, and it's not RE9. We'll have to wait and see, guys. We'll have to wait and see. Moving on. What do you think about Dusk? He's saying RE9 will be at Summer Game Fest. I don't think Dusk specifically said it was going to be at Summer. I think he speculated that it would be revealed there. I don't think so. I'm personally still thinking it's going to be a State of Play just because of Capcom's previous patterns. But Lutix replied, well, my contact said it would be a State of Play. Personally, I'm waiting for the State of Play to see, but I would like it to be in the Summer Game Fest because it would be an even more incredible announcement. So two things are going to happen here. Either this game is going to be revealed at a State of Play before Summer Game Fest, which is kind of similar to what happened to RE4 Remake. It was revealed early June, and then literally like a day or two later we had Summer Game Fest. So the same thing could happen here. We get like a State of Play literally on the 3rd or the 4th of June before Summer Game Fest, which starts on the 6th. Or the contact is wrong and they are going to reveal it at Summer Game Fest. Things can change. I do believe that sometimes things can change. Or maybe the game isn't announced at Summer Game Fest and the State of Play actually takes place after Summer Game Fest in the middle of June. That could potentially happen. I don't know. I'm still crossing my fingers that it's going to be next week. Hopefully. If there's a State of Play, we'll get an announcement on Monday or Tuesday next week. So, here's hoping, guys. Moving on. Honestly, Chris is a... So this is someone asking him about Chris's role in the game, and Lutix replied, honestly, Chris is a mystery to me in this game. I know practically nothing about the character at this moment, but something I'm hoping is that they use January as the game's launch. It would be amazing to start 2026 with RE9 in our homes. This is my speculation. I don't think Resident Evil 9 is coming out in January. I think it's going to be March. It's going to be around the 30th anniversary, which would be, I think it's the 22nd. And I think that's a Sunday, which means that if this game comes out, it'll be on maybe the 20th of March, which funny enough would put it around... Actually, I think that is Iranian New Year, actually, which would be great. That would be an Iranian New Year present for me. Let me just double check this for a second. I really want to be sure if that is the case or not. Yeah. 20th of March, start of Iranian New Year would be the 20th, and that's on a Friday. So yeah, if the game comes out, it would be around then. That would be perfect timing. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. If it comes out in January, even better, you know? The earlier, the better, man. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Unless Capcom is really close to, like, completing this game. In which case, wonderful. So, yeah, that's pretty much all Lutix has to say, which isn't a lot, unfortunately. It's very basic stuff. Again, you got to take this stuff with a grain of salt. But here's the thing. Compared to most leakers, he sounds... sincere, you know? He sounds sincere, he sounds very professional. He's not like Dusk, who goes out of his way to say, oh yeah, this is BS, this guy's lying. You know, Lutix is sitting there and he's like, you know, this is what I've heard, this is what my contact says, etc, etc. Maybe it will be, I don't know, that's what my contact says, I'm believing him. So, you know, Lutix is not going out of his way to dismiss what Dusk is saying. So, he's not acting like an asshole. The way Dusk is when he's going around trying to throw everyone else's theories or leaks under the bus and act like his leaks are the real thing. So this guy's being very professional and sincere, which is one of the reasons why I want to believe him. I don't think he's telling. I don't think he's right, but I'm hoping he's right. But I am on the boat of this is all speculation until it's, you know, until it isn't. But there is some other stuff that I found out from a user, from one of my local fans. Thank you. So this is from Mr. Valentine. This was on a reply I did on Twitter regarding Lutix's recent post, and some people, you know, commented and basically said a bit of name calling and that Dust, you know, Lutix is lying and that, etc, etc. And Fontaine came in and gave me this info that I didn't know before, which is this: Lutix Fix playtested Village under a different name way before it got announced during the ambassador section. I did not know this. I did not know that Lutix, because he has said, Lutix did say he is a playtester. So the assumption would be that he has playtested previous games. But I never knew that he playtested a previous RE title, and apparently he did. He did playtest Village. Yeah, and again, Fontaine replied, yeah, I remember. Forgot the other game, but yeah, I remember he posted about wolf-like creatures and snowy setting, etc. This was even a little after RE3 Remake got announced. He signed up to do a demo and thought he was going to play RE3 Remake, but instead it was RE8. So Lutix has playtested previous RE titles, and he did leak some stuff. And here's another thing. it's very, very, very possible that Lutix is the original anonymous leaker that gave Biohazard Declassified all those leaks a year in advance before RE Village was officially announced. And this was before Dusk even came up with his own stuff and said, oh yeah, this game is this and this game that. And then he was like half wrong because the other half was information he basically took from the leak that this anonymous leaker gave. So if Lutix is this anonymous leaker, or at least he's one of the playtesters for RE8, then he actually is legit on the money, because why would he lie? He's playtested the previous game, he's actually giving out legit info. Why would he go and lie about this now, right? And as I said before, Lutix isn't the first person to give details about, you know, Jill being in the game. He wasn't the first one. Andy from Screamfile. Technically speaking, if you watch my previous videos, I did point out that Dusk was the first one to say Jill was going to be in RE9. He said that she was either going to be in Revelations 3 or she was going to be in RE9. And then you had Andy from Screamfire a year ago come in and say Leon and Jill are the main characters. And then there was even another user by the name of Bupcom Soup, I think. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And he said, you know, in one of his videos, and I think he's been doing this for a while now, he's been saying that Jill is one of the main characters of RE9. So you do have several people and analysts and leakers in, you know, on YouTube and online in general coming up and saying sort of the same thing. So it's a bit weird for Dusk now to come out and say, oh, Jill's been caught, she's not in the game now. I get that sometimes things can change, but when you've got several people saying the opposite of what you're saying, it makes you, you know, you have to start, it makes you wonder now, and you have to start to wonder, maybe your info isn't as correct, or maybe, as I've been saying for a while now, Dusk isn't an accurate leaker, and never was, at least when it comes to RE. But yeah, this is pretty much all the info we had to share on this. Like I said, we're only a few days away. We're going to find out whether Lutix is telling the truth or not. I want him to be right, but personally, I'm getting the sort of feeling maybe he is not. Okay, and that's because I don't know. I just got this feeling that maybe my theory about Capcom not treating Jill as a main character is correct, and she's going to be sidelined. And they're gonna just focus on Leon. There's also the fact, you know, if you go online and you do some research on the social media stuff for certain people, which I'm gonna go through now for you. Actually, I think it's best to show you. Yeah. So yeah, I thought I would share this. I would share these images here for you guys. Give me a sec. So I did this in a previous video where I talked about the potential of Leon being in RE9, and this pretty much for me at least confirmed it. This is Nick's resume that you can find online, which lists some of his past projects and recent ones. And as you can see here with Resident Evil 2 Remake and Infinite Darkness and 4 Remake, you know, the way it's described, Leon Kennedy, lead full PCAP, right? And if you look at his other stuff that he's done, it doesn't have the same description. It doesn't have the full PCAP there. And now he's working on a AAA title video game, and it's listed as lead full PCAP. So that for me just confirms that yes, he is in RE9. This is for Resident Evil. This is for a new Resident Evil game that he's doing. And then of course I checked his social medias. I went on the director for Resident Evil 9. As we know, Koshi is it Koshi Nakashini? Am I saying that right? Apologize if I'm not. You know, he's apparently doing Resident Evil 9. He did Revelations 1. He did Resident Evil 7, and apparently he's doing Resident Evil 9 now. And he follows Nick on Instagram. But here's the thing. Nick does not follow him on Instagram. The director is following Nick. Nick is not. And I decided to check other actors as well and see if Koshi is following them, and I found nothing. No, Koshi isn't following any other previous Resident Evil voice actor from the RE Engine games. And of course, none of them are following him either. So, for example, we got Nicole here. She's not following him. She voices Jill Valentine in the RE3 remake. Nicole does follow Nick, though. Nick follows Nicole. Nick follows Chris Redfield's voice actor from RE Village, Jeff. Nicole follows Jeff. So a lot of the actors follow each other and that, etc., etc. But none of them are being followed by the director of Resident Evil 9, supposedly. So he's only following Nick. Which, you know, for a game that's supposed to be very big and feature like potentially multiple characters, It's a bit where none of them are in there. I even checked the ones for Claire and even Wesker, for example, just to see if, you know, maybe there's something there. And there was nothing. I even looked for Lily, for example, nothing there. The only thing I did found when it came to like a creator or producer was the producer for RE3 Remake, who, you know, Jill's voice actor follows, and that's really it. So it's not a big hint about whether or not these guys are going to be in RE9. Maybe they are in it, maybe they are not. But it is very surprising that the director for for the new Resident Evil game is following Nick on Instagram. So that is a bit of a that's a bit suspicious. But I even tried to check the Instagrams for the different Ada voice actors, and they're not being followed by the director, and they're not following him. So what does that mean? Is this just because he's the main lead he's following him? Is this a hint because they knew people would look at social media, so they decide to do this perhaps? I don't know how it works, but I just thought I'd throw that in there. But, you know, don't get your hopes up, essentially, for Jill being in this, potentially. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't it, maybe it's going to be a surprise. We're going to find out. I mean, Lutix says it's a surprise, like they're keeping it well hidden, but she is going to be in it. But also he's hearing that maybe things have changed, or maybe my theory is right and Jill is actually a DLC character for RE9 going forward. We'll have to wait and see, guys. We'll have to wait and see. But if he's right, we're not going to get a Jill reveal in the announcement trailer, which means we're going to be waiting a while to see other characters, which it is always the case. You know, they give you the reveal trailer, they give you the little bits and pieces to dissect, and then over the course of a few months, they start giving you new trailers. And obviously we got Tokyo Game Show coming up in September, so we'd probably get a new trailer then. And then of course we got other game shows between and that. And then of course Capcom could always do a showcase, and because, you know, the 30th anniversary is literally right around the corner, they could easily do a showcase and announce a bunch of other projects all at once. So it's possible, it's possible. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say regarding this. There isn't a lot more to it, unfortunately, than that. It's very basic, it's very simple. I'm just waiting for next week at this point, guys. I'm either waiting for the State of Play to show up, or it's going to be Summer Game Fest, and we're going to finally get this bloody reveal, because it's been a long time coming, and I just want it. I just want this reveal. I just want to see what this game's about. I want to see who's right and who's wrong. I'm not going to go through any of the stuff Dusk has posted, because I just don't want to waste my time. Like, again, it's going to be filled with contradictions and stuff here and there. I don't have the time to read through all these recent BS and that. I just don't believe him. I really don't. Until proven otherwise, I'm just not going to waste my time with these posts, okay? And yeah, I'm going to wait and see what's going to happen here. At this point, I've had to pick someone that's legit or on the money. It's going to be Andy. And even Dusk has gone online and said that he trusts Andy. If Andy's saying it's going to be a Summer Game Fest, he trusts Andy to be right. And if he's saying this, it's right. I know he said that the recent, you know, the info that Andy gave regarding RE9 last year was apparently an early build. But Lutix also, Dusk also says that the original RE9 was a multiplayer game, which just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it started off as RE8, then it became RE9, because RE8 started off as, I don't know, it's so many contradictions, it's crazy, but I'm not going to go through it. I'm just going to wait and see what happens and how this all plays out. And then maybe I'll give it a look, but yeah, this guys will probably be my final video on this subject until the announcement. If we don't get a reveal for this next week at either a State of Play or Summer Game Fest, I'm not going to be doing an update video. I'm going to be waiting till the end of the month. Like, if we get a State of Play at the end of the month or not, maybe, if this game isn't revealed by then. If it is revealed, obviously, trailer reaction and trailer analysis and etc, etc. And then from there, we'll see what happens. But for now, I'm pretty much done at this point, and I'm in the waiting game now with all of you. So yeah, fingers crossed we get that RE9 reveal. Fingers crossed, because this is it. It has to be. Like, no more bloody waiting. Here's hoping. Anyway, guys, this is my video. I hope you liked it. As always, remember to like and subscribe. And I shall see you when I shall see you. Take care and bye.